This video was made possible by the EA Creator Network. Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. I am back once again in the world of Tomarang, and we are building some duplexes with the new expansion pack. You might recognize this build if you were at my stream the other day. I did stream early access to this pack, and we worked together on stream to create this duplex where one of the homes here is very run down and disgusting, and the other one's a nice clean space that has like a cute little family inside. So that is what I will be showing you here today. I'm really happy with how this came out. I think it ends up being a really cool build, and it mixed the things that I like to do together, which is really run down gross builds and really put together spaces. So it was kind of fun to basically do opposite duplexes. I'm not sure what I'm titling this video because the original idea was to just do really a dirty duplex, and that's what I was going to call it. But that is not what we did. It's kind of a mixture of two different styles, so we shall see. But right now, I'm just trying to figure out the external shape. I really wanted to have them have a couple of windows in the front, matching doors, and then little garage spaces over to the side. These garage doors are part of debug or show live edit objects with base game. I got a lot of questions about that during stream, so I just wanted to mention that. They're a little bit difficult to find, but they are in the debug menu, and I just thought that they were perfect for this, especially because they came in the colors that I was using, of this more like orange and beige color scheme I have on one side and this sort of dirty green color on the other side. And I just think it came out really cute in the end. And also I love how having this really grimy looking duplex looks juxtaposed against the gorgeous background. This lot is absolutely stunning with the water behind it and all of the tropical plants. I just think this whole world in general is really pretty, so I've been having a lot of fun building here. If you do like this build and you'd like to download it, it is not available yet to download, but it will be once this pack releases worldwide on the 7th of December. And at that point, I will upload it to my gallery. You'll be able to find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You'll be also able to find it under the hashtag Gryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. But right now, this is when I'm starting to really grime up the outside of this build. We're adding all of these new scuffs and tears and mold and like exposed brick just peeking through, and I added flower boxes to the other lot or the other building to really just show it's all like nicely maintained. We got some pretty flowers, and I just thought that that looked really cool. I also added a little like plant in the middle of this area. There's little sidewalks going up to each of the lots as well as a driveway. They do connect, and I put a car out front of this one because I'm thinking somebody's actually living here, whereas the other one is more abandoned. I do kind of set it up as if somebody is living there, but I'm not sure they're supposed to be living there. Hopefully this could be a fun one to either rent out and be a bad landlord, or maybe fix up and have that as a sort of like rags to riches. I think it'd be a really fun lot to play on, to be honest. So I hope you enjoy it. I had a lot of fun building it. But yeah, we're just working on some landscaping now. I have some more dull plants over by the rundown lot or build. I don't know what to call it. The rundown half. The rundown unit, I suppose, and then a little bit of like nicer, more maintained, colorful landscaping over by this unit. And yeah, some of it is stuff that we've seen before with Island Living. Some of it is newer with this pack. I did go through all of the items in live edit objects and debug in my build and buy overview. I will try to remember to link that down below. I uploaded that on the first day of the month. And it's a long video. It goes through absolutely everything. So if you'd like to see that, you could check that out. But now we are working on the floor plans. So the yellow house ends up having 2 bedrooms, and then the green one has only 1 bedroom, but it's a bigger bedroom and it's more run down. It's just kind of how I had the layouts work together, how they're kind of mirrored and they share this like block in the corner. That the best way I could lay it out made it so the floor plans were going to be a little bit different, but they also each have like a garage space that you could turn into another bedroom if you would prefer to, or anything. I kind of left it as garage spaces in here. I just thought it was a bit of fun and a place that you could add the new electric box and boiler, or the water heater that came with for rent. So that's what I opted to do here, but we're figuring out where the doors are going to go now and where I'm going to be putting the kitchen. And I really love how the interior of this particular unit comes out. It ends up being so incredibly cozy, and I'm just a huge fan of a lot of the new items that came with this pack. So, but first we're working on the layout of the other apartment. I just wanted to figure out our floor planning before I went in and fully decorated all of the spaces. And then here I am selecting which units are which. You can see like color coding happening on the boxes here. And I actually end up changing the colors for each area to match what the outside is. So we have the yellow over here and the green over there. I just thought that made a little bit more sense because I was getting a little confused by the colors. And basically you can just select each room and then decide which unit that is, or if it's a shared space. And for this particular build, I didn't have any shared spaces. I just wanted it to be you enter from the outside and you're in that apartment. And I think that's pretty realistic. I've lived in both types of apartments before where you have a shared space inside and then the units break off from a hallway. And I've also lived in a space where you directly enter your apartment from outside. So that's kind of the idea I had here. But working on the kitchen space now using the new countertops and cabinets, which are absolutely gorgeous, and this new tile, which actually matched really well with this base game tile. The swatches were perfect, so I was pretty excited about that. And because that worked out nicely, I was able to use the other swatch of it that's more of a blue color in the other units, so I could tie that in and have it a little bit more cohesive, even though I wanted the other unit to be really run down and abandoned. And this plate rack, I love that plate rack so much. The drying rack by the sink, I feel like that's just going to be in so many builds. At this point, before we got this expansion, I've always overused the Parenthood one and the one from the Cool Kitchen Stuff Pack, and having a new one that I feel like is just way more realistic than the other two. It's just going to be used all the time. Also, that shelf I put in the kitchen over the sink, I kind of tucked in the top portion of it under the cabinet, so you're not seeing the top portion. I like it, but I just wanted to see what it would look like if you tucked it in and made it feel a little bit more built into the space. And I think it looked really nice that way. But we've moved on to the living room now, and I got a radiator over here in the corner, our new couch, and some of these ottomans. I also decorate this little side table here to have some books and like a jar of marbles and things like that. A lot of these builds with early access are going to be kind of repetitive with the items I end up using because I only have base game and the new pack. But it's also really cool because I get to play around with the new items without being as tempted to go for items that are like my go-tos because I don't have access to them. So the living room has pretty much come together now. I'm just going to add a couple more decorations in the kitchen, like some utensils by the stove and a trash can, and then I do end up putting a dining table over here. I was originally thinking of this as more as a desk space, so I put that down and a computer first before I decide that I'm going to have all of the chairs there. So I do end up having 2 seats here, just 2, because if I put the third one, that would have blocked off the fridge. But that way there's a dining space for this household and also a spot for a computer, and then I also get a really pretty flower up here, which is also from the new pack. It doesn't automatically snap to surfaces though. It's a floor plant, so I did have to raise that up using the 9 and 0 keys. But I thought that was okay. It came out pretty cute. And then over in the living room, I am just adding a candle and some books. And then we should be moving on into the garage space where I have the water heater and all of that. But it looks like I forgot I added some mirrors by the staircase first. But here's the new water heater item. And I'm just painting the walls to make them look a little bit more like a garage. I also end up adding a little bit of like grime on the walls in here, I'm pretty sure, because it is a garage space. I do way more of that in the other unit, but I'm pretty sure I put a little bit in here. I also decided to put the hopscotch in here because I thought that would be just so cute for the kid to go and play with. And then we're getting some counters in here as well as some upperhead cabinets. And I believe I put a sink in the counter. But I think this would be a good spot to put a washer and dryer if you have the laundry day pack. I think just having more items to put in garages and basements is so nice. Obviously, these were added for the rental units, but I just think having actual water heaters and electric boxes that function is such a cool detail to have in your Sims games. But anyway, we are moving upstairs now in this first unit and trying to figure out which room is going to be which. The windows are kind of weird in here because we have those permanently open windows as well as the other ones. There's a, what's it called? An air conditioning unit going through the wall, and the walls are just kind of busy. I figured it out in the end, and I don't actually end up keeping the new bed from this pack in this build because I feel like I've just overused it, and it's a little bit too big for that space with the canopy portion of it. It just felt a little bit too squeezed in. So I do end up changing that, but we're working on the bathroom first. It just has a standing shower, which is the new one from this pack. This whole bathroom set is new. The floor tiles, the sink, the toilet, and the shower, as well as the mirror. So we're just playing around with the wood swatches here, trying to figure out which one would look the best. And I believe I get a painting above the toilet. Yeah, just that. And some towels as well. And then we should be going on to add a carpet in the hallway, which I actually ended up swapping out because I decided I wanted to use that in the bedroom instead. So I will be getting rid of that. But I think we work on the kids' room first because I was really excited about this color scheme in the kids' room once we actually start decorating it. I keep this blue bed, but I use this rug from base game that we got when we got the infant update. It's like pink and purple, and I just thought it was such a fun color scheme that I haven't done before. I decided this sim was really into animals, so we have the little tiger plushie that you can get from, I believe, exploring the tiger animal sanctuary in Tomarang. We also have this painting or tapestry on the wall that has a bird on it. And I got the little fox lamp, which is so cute. I just was really excited about this room, even though it's mostly base game and, a couple of furniture items from the new pack. Something about it just felt really refreshing, and I was just really happy with this particular room. I always like having fun with the color schemes and patterns and just personality in kids' rooms and teenagers' rooms. I feel like you can get away with a lot more color and just fun patterns because of the youthful nature of those rooms. So I quite liked this one. I also got a cow plant poster over there, and then I just got this room divider to fill up space, and I believe a couple of posters on the walls as well, and a place for marbles. I thought that was kind of fun. I haven't done the gameplay with marbles yet, but I think it's really cool that we have that in the game as well as the hopscotch as well. Just having like more kids games and items that don't take up a ton of space. I guess hopscotch does, but it's just on the ground outside. It's not an object you necessarily have to put in your house. I know I did in the garage in this one, but I just think it's such a cool thing to have. That's such a simple thing so many of us have played as kids or even older than that. Sometimes where I live, when I go outside, the kids that live in our apartment complex have drawn hopscotch outside, and me and my boyfriend will play because it's just on the ground. Somebody drew it with chalk. Why not play? So I think it's cool that that's in the game, and I'm pretty sure Sims of any age past childhood can play hopscotch. But I think marbles are tied to just children, which I'm not very happy about. I feel like anyone should be able to play marbles. Maybe not like toddlers and infants, but I feel like above kids should be able to do that. I think it's kind of odd that they can't. But anyway, this is the primary bedroom, just getting some mirrors on the wall, as well as, I believe I get a plant over here. I tried to fit in a wardrobe, but the space was way too small, so I didn't end up doing that in the end. I am going to move that mirror over here and get something else on the wall. We have this new set of paintings from the new pack, which I think is really pretty. And then we're moving over to the other unit, which is really gross. It's very poorly and minimally decorated. I don't think somebody is supposed to be living here. It's just, there's a couple of items that have been thrown around. I do have the built-in kitchen area, which we are working on now. I wasn't sure what color I wanted to go with, and I ended up going with this blue one in the end. I would have preferred using the version of this counter that came with City Living that is a little bit more run down, but since I only had base game and the For Rent expansion, I ended up going with this base game one, and I think the blue swatch is kind of fun. Just going to paint the walls with this tile that I had mentioned earlier and get our appliances, and I also picked out a floor tile for this area. I really wanted it to be blue to match with the wall tiles, and I think it's quite pretty at first anyway, but then I swapped it because I realized there was a matching floor tile for this tile, which is just, it's wonderful. It's so old. I know it's not new with the new pack. This unit in particular doesn't have that many new things other than like the scuffs on the walls. But I like having the ability to tell that story in the game. So that's what I decided to do here. I believe we just end up having a bench that I throw randomly in here. Yeah, this base game bench. We have a bookcase and a radiator. There's two versions of the radiator. There's one that is new and one that is chipped paint. And so I decided to have the chipped paint one in here. I also added some like really random clutter in the kitchen. So maybe they're trying to find something on this map. I have some knives in the corner. We have a duffel of cash up here. I also ended up putting that upstairs as well. So there's lots of cash just around this apartment. And we have this rug and everything's just kind of a little bit askew. It's all in random places. It doesn't feel like somebody's been maintaining this space at all. I got a bookcase over here in the garage, and then I should be getting the water heater as well. And playing around with what other things I want to decorate this space with. I hung up some spoons and stuff over on the wall, and then we're getting this space really gross. I figured the actual garage, it would make sense to have a lot of scuffs. I ended up putting some paintings on the walls here. I know these are technically pretty expensive. I just thought that they looked old, and so that's why I decided to put them there. But that could also be cool gameplay since with this pack, your Sims are able to now like break and enter. So if you wanted to break into this house, you could steal those paintings and sell them. So that's kind of fun. And yeah, just getting some really basic appliances in or basic utilities in this bathroom. All of the like really cheap stuff. So it's very bare bones. It's probably going to break pretty quickly. And then getting some more like mold on the walls and more cracks and stuff in the hallway. And I believe we just put a rug in this hallway. Yeah. And then the bedroom is at the end of the hall. And I repeat the same rug that I had downstairs and also a cot, which I think originally was from the, oh goodness, outdoor retreat pack. But I think it got patched in at some point. So we have a cot that I'm going to be throwing down in here that's red. So it matches quite well with this rug. I wasn't really sure what bed at first because I feel like my go-to is usually the one in Debug that came with Eco Lifestyle that you can get from dumpster diving. It just feels correct for this sorts of builds. But obviously I'm not using that right now. So going with just base game, I feel like this was a good way to do it. We have the duffel of cash. We have a baseball bat. Lots of gross stuff everywhere, and I also ended up getting a punching bag in here. I thought about putting curtains, but I decided not to in the end, and then we're just heading outside to finish up the landscaping, and that should be pretty much it for this build. I had a blast decorating this space and imagining like the cute family home right next to this really rundown abandoned space. I feel like there's a lot of storytelling you can tell with this build in particular, or just anything with this expansion pack. I'm so excited to do some more builds in the future. Once I have access to all of the packs, decorating, and there'll probably be so much stuff that is multi-unit living. We're going to have probably like, I want to do some sort of trailer park. I want to do tiny home communities, big apartment buildings, probably more townhouses, basements that are being rented out. I have so many ideas, but if you have anything you'd like to see, make sure you comment that down below, and hopefully I can get it on the channel sometime soon. But thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.